Last night, the president didn't talk on Air Force One on the flight back from Florida, but he did talk on the tarmac, and he talked a lot. In fact, you could almost imagine that the president was just trying to basically program the morning meeting
Hmm.
because he talked about every topic under the sun. Let's listen to him talk here. We'll play him back to back. First about Epstein, and then about Marjorie Taylor Greene, 105 and 107, please, back to back.
He says he's concerned that the Epstein probe you are calling for could be a smokescreen to block the release of more files. Is that the case?
Well, I don't want to talk about it because fake news like you're a terrible reporter, and fake news like you, they just keep bringing that up to deflect from the tremendous success of the Trump administration. So a guy like Massey, his poll numbers are showing he's at 6% approval rating right now. And we call him Rand Paul Jr. because he never votes for the Republican Party. So they're using Jeffrey Epstein as a deflection from the tremendous success that we're having as a party.
And her life could be at danger because of the rhetoric.
Her life is in danger? Who's that?
Marjorie Taylor Greene, she says.
Marjorie Traitor Greene. I don't think her life is in danger. Frankly, I don't think anybody cares about her. Okay, what about you?
So both before and after the president's 180 on whether he supported the House vote, lots of back and forth on social media. He using Truth Social, she using X between the president and Marjorie Taylor Greene. I can't read you her entire series of tweets because they're too much. 108 A and B, will flash them up on the screen. For those of you listening to the program on a podcast, you're out of luck because I'm just not going to read these things. But basically, she's saying she's endangered. It's all the president's fault. She still thinks the president's awesome, but she's not a traitor, blah, 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 back and forth, back and forth. Sean, is it in the president's interest to keep going after Marjorie Taylor Greene now, or will he, you think, back down because, I mean, the vote's happening and he only elevates her?
Well, not just that, but I'm not a big fan of red on red. I don't like it. Number two is that when you have a 1 or 2 seat majority, creating enemies that you may need for a vote is not probably the most helpful thing. So I'm not sure that it's helpful in the long run. I get he's not pleased with her position on this. But I will say that I had Marjorie on the show on Wednesday of last week, and she comes at this from a place of concern for women, and she has very much been it's a longstanding thing that she has had. So this is not, there's no one that's ever questioned her commitment and her loyalty to President Trump and the America First agenda. So I just have never been a big fan of red on red stuff. I get that they're pissed at her, but I wish that we didn't have to handle it like this out in the open.
Dan, some Democrats have been texting me, including some from the Hill, saying this is epic because it's really the first big fight between MAGA and the president that's been caused by Democrat leverage, and that this is the start of the great unraveling, as opposed to just a one-off, idiosyncratic thing because of Epstein and Greene. Which camp would you be in, and why?
I mean, I think it's a one-off, but I said this to start the show. The last week has felt, for the first time since COVID in Trump's 10 years, where events are controlling him and he is not controlling events. And Marjorie Taylor Greene, let's assume this vote, it happens Tuesday and whatever, 100 some odd Republicans vote for it. She won. Like, he backed off. Now the question is, will he take her out in a primary? Because that has always been what makes him feared. Is over 10 years, his record in primaries is phenomenal. So I don't know if this is the beginning of kind of the party, not fearing him as much. We're going to get to some other topics where I think people are going to be in a bind and they're going to have to start choosing sides. But, she stood toe to toe with him, and she won on this issue.
Can I just say this? This is why this is not only just a one-off, but it is unbelievably unique. The president and MAGA made this issue a big deal during the campaign. Talked
100%.
about the release. The DOJ, as we all saw, that group of influencers who came to the White House and they were talking about releasing the files, gave people binders. And then suddenly it was, the first 180 was, now we don't want to talk about it again. So if you are a MAGA person, if you are a supporter of Donald Trump, then you thought you were on the right side of this issue for the last 2 years, where you were saying, great, he wants transparency. It's all Democrats wrapped up in this. This is great for us. It wasn't until he, said, I don't want to talk about it anymore. But you can't get people, it's like firing up somebody and then saying, well, you got to calm down. Well, you're the one who fired him up. And now you guys want him to just calm down. So this is to me a very one-off issue because it was initiated and propelled by the MAGA base.
But here's where there is something for what Democrats, I agree with Sean. Trump made his own bed on this issue. But now I can look at another set of it, like healthcare, where Trump is saying we have to do something, his party doesn't. What you see in these instances is Democrats are united, Republicans are divided. And that is where, if they stick together, they have some leverage. They do, because you only have to break off a few people, and then you got a problem.
Let me ask one more Epstein question, and then we'll move to affordability and healthcare. So the Republicans are right that the Democrats' motives are at least suspect, because when they had control of the White House and Congress, they didn't do anything to try to bring this stuff out.
Yep.
So they claim this is all about the alleged victims and this is all about transparency, but there's obviously a political motive too on the part of all the Republicans, all the Democrats claiming to want this. And I think Trump thought if he waved the bloody shirt of Bill Clinton and Larry Summers, the Democrats might back down. Dan, it seems to me that Trump made a miscalculation here, not just about Marjorie Taylor Greene, but also about the Democrats. The Democrats in Congress don't care if Bill Clinton and Larry Summers go down. It would appear.
Sure. I mean, think of it this way. We talk about Trump's influence on the young voters with MAGA, right? And how influential they are, and how like this has kind of been a little bit of a bee in their bonnet. Most of those people weren't born when Bill Clinton was president. They don't care. It's a dog from 30 years ago. So I don't think the party cares. Of course, we're playing politics. We didn't care about this issue. It was J.D. Vance, Donald Trump, Kash Patel, who for the last 4 years beat the hell out of this drum because we were the deep state, supposedly, and we were hiding a cabal of pedophiles. We all thought it was absurd. So now you get into office, and to Sean's point, you're like, nothing to see here. We're like, okay, we're going to have some fun with this.
Sean,
I will say, I just, beyond Bill Clinton and Larry Summers, I do wonder how many other people, especially big dollar donor types, CEO types, are on the, no, I'm not saying, but like, this could, I think, have an interesting take, not just on when you think about donors, market forces. I mean, there's a lot of ramifications that I think could come out of this thing.
There are a lot of people probably not sleeping well in my neighborhood on the Upper East Side right now.
Will the Democrats trust the redaction process? Will Marjorie Taylor Greene trust the redaction process?
No, because conspiracy theories need oxygen. So they'll just say.
I also think, I mean, here's the deal. We saw this last week with that Drew Frey email. When enough people have seen it, whose name is being redacted or whatever it is, it will come out. And enough dots are able to connect where it's like, okay, that person, that's, Professor Plum in the library.
But isn't it incredible that the people had seen Jeffrey Epstein's email saying Trump's a dog that didn't bark, and Trump knew about this stuff, and that never came out till just now? Isn't that suggest there might be explosive stuff that's never come out?
That's what I'm saying, though.
Even though the Justice Department saw it.
Well, although it's not just that, there's trials that Epstein went at, and you got to wonder why wouldn't he have leveraged some of that intel at that point?
Yeah.
They say that something that's easy is like a walk in the park. Well, easier than a walk in the park, hit the subscribe button, be part of the two-way community, never miss an episode, be part of our conversations. Thank you for your service to America.
And don't forget, you can now listen to the Morning Meeting and Two-Way Tonight on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.